Hi, Tim Smith of the Smith Group bringing you the May real estate market update. Now, the big word today, and if you're reading the headlines and talking cooling real estate market, let me give you a little context. When I give you this market update, it's talking about Orange County as a whole. We're not just in Orange County, we focus really specifically on coastal Orange County, but there are some things to talk about, and I want to take all what the experts say that we've curated in some notes and then give you my pulse, which I still think is most important because I'm out there, boots on the street. So starting out, trends of a cooling housing market are beginning to develop. What does this mean? Inventory, we're going to look at 4 points, right? Inventory has increased 60% since mid-January. 60%. Sounds frightening. Compared to last month, there was a 12% increase in inventory. Also frightening. You go to demand, AKA the number of new escrows over the prior month has stalled the last several weeks. We're down by about 27% compared to last year and have not seen demand this low since 2007. Scary. Pricing. Approximately 15% of available homes on the market have reduced their asking price. Fourth, inflation and interest rates. We'll talk about that. Interest rates, just to talk specifically, conforming. So in Orange County, conforming is 640,000 up to about 970. January, they were 2.875. They're now at 5.875. That's a pretty big jump. Jumbo, which is above, started at 2.875. up to about 4.25. Probably the biggest jump we've seen in a couple of decades. Now going back to my opinions, because when they say inventory is up 60%, so last update, I think we were around 1,200 homes. Active, available, coming soon in Orange County, we're now at 1,600. Context, 2020, 4,100, 2012, 7,100. Is that scary? No. That's still shockingly low inventory, right? The other thing that we talked about is demand. Demand's down by 27%, lowest demand since 2007. So as I kind of peel this back, this is the thing that I'm seeing. Is there a cooling? Yes, right? The cooling that I see is there's two types of product type. There's new construction at all price points. And when I say new, 4 years new, turnkey, somebody from Florida, Arizona or Utah can come here, bring their toothbrush and move in. That is getting more and more scarce. What I'm seeing is a buildup in inventory of the in-between or teardown stuff. So when you say 15% of homes have reduced their price in the last month, of course, because they were going for peak pricing, which they were never gonna get. So when you read between the lines, what I still see is very little inventory that's new. We're still seeing bidding wars and we're still seeing peak pricing. Peak pricing to the point where nobody's ever seen that in neighborhoods before, and it seems every sale is a pretty big jump, right? So that's what is really creating this inventory buildup, because you're seeing a bunch of schlep homes that are coming up where people are like, okay, I'm gonna take advantage of the peak pricing, the market's cooling, I'm gonna get out at a number. I think we're gonna continue to see that inventory grow while we see the new inventory come down. I don't think there's gonna be any slowing down to the demand on this, and I think there's gonna be a slew of price reductions and jumping around and days on market. But when you literally look in reality, the average days on market last month was 20. It's jumped to 23. The average over list price, 75% of homes were selling for an average of 4% over list price. We are still seeing that. So this is kind of a call out to all those sellers. I think it is time, because we are seeing some signs of what would be a slowing market. If you're thinking about selling or not thinking or really considering it, now is the time to have a plan by design. Don't wait by default. I'm not insinuating at all that the market is falling, but I do see when interest rates tick up, generally in economics, pricing has to come down. What it's not factoring into, in my opinion, is supply and demand. There's still in Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Daniel Point, the areas that we work, Corona Del Mar, very low inventory. And if you're a buyer, I have buyers lining up that can't find anything. And generally, my kind of model is, hey, let's sit down with a buyer, go through, see what they want, and let's find something. If we can't find something, maybe you're not a real buyer, but now we're still really constrained because the choices are so few. Let's talk about the high-end market. Last month, there were 29 homes available. There are still 29 homes available. We've seen some come on, and we've seen some go into escrow. Last year, over 20 million, 16 homes sold in coastal Orange County. So far this year, there's been 5, and there's 6 in escrow. Now, some more context behind that, the bigger homes, for whatever reasons from a historic standpoint, seem to start closing in May through December. What does that mean? Maybe all the wells are doing their taxes January, February, March, so they start to make their decisions. We will be at, call it 11 or 12 already closed by the end of next month, which I think we'll see double, if not more, assuming we can get some inventory. How that really looks in a couple of stories. We sold a house, which was a record house, for about $40 million in 2019. The buyer was not our buyer, thought they paid extremely high and overpriced, and I think they were disgruntled this whole time. We had a buyer that came to us from out of the country, really liked that house. At the time, they didn't have the appetite for it. He's like, I want to buy that house. Will they sell for 50? I'm like, no. 55? No. 60? Well, now it gets interesting. So we wrote up a $65 million offer on this home. We connected with the agent and the seller. The seller basically came back and said something funny, which was exciting me. He's like, that makes me so happy. And I'm thinking, well, great, let's get it sold. And what he said after is he said, it makes me so happy because I thought I grossly overpaid. So the next question was, will you sell? Not only would I not sell at 65 million, I don't think I would sell at 100 million, which is crazy to think. He's just like, I couldn't replace it. So that's the reality of the market. How is inflation playing in? You see it every day. My wife and I ordered the family dinner from Panini for our family last week. It was $80. I swear the last time I ordered it, it was $40. Inflation is happening. And when I talk to buyers of any price point, I'm saying to the buyers, is it really that pricing is just so much higher? Or is it that our dollar doesn't have the same amount of purchasing power, which I think we have? So I'm gonna give a couple categories. What's happening to buyers in the $500,000 to $1.5 million range? That's very tricky because that's kind of entry level in Orange County. And if you're at 1.5 in January, you're looking at being approved for under $1 million. I think that's a challenging place to be. Above 3 to 5, you're in a situation where interest rates have ticked up basically from 2.875 to 4.25. Keep in mind, there's still lenders locally, and we would be happy to connect you with them, that can still beat those rates, right? You have to have some banking relationships, but we're seeing that. But that starts to get uncomfortable for that buyer because he's probably an entrepreneur, business owner, and when his payment or purchasing power goes down that much, it gets a little uncomfortable. Is it gonna stop you from buying? No. When you start going 10 million plus, I think that sensitivity to interest rates is much milder, but I think that, the all cash buyers will use the interest rate tick up as an advantage to try to get a better deal. But if it's new construction, as we know, it's going to set a record. What am I telling buyers right now? I've never looked at homes as investments or ROI. I look at the investment of a home as memories, your utility value. It's still a great time to buy the house that you're gonna love with your family. Does that mean you should buy the investment house? I don't know. Maybe you slow down that a little bit. Maybe you have to alter your investment strategy. For sellers today, what would I say? I think now is the time that you need to find an agent that understands marketing. Because if the market really does slow, your agent not only makes all the difference on how they are marketing, and I'll use an example. I think a lot of agents are still, if we use an analogy for fishing, taking the boat out, throwing the one line in the water and hoping that big fish gets there. If you look at that analogy, there's agents that understand fishing and marketing in a different way. You need a fleet of boats. You need bigger nets. You need technology, because the one thing that I've seen for the first time in my career, people are actually agreeing with us that Newport Beach is the best major metropolitan area to live in bar none in all of the US. If you don't have to work from an office, why wouldn't you want to live in an area where you have perfect weather, great lifestyle, and safety? Like, it's unbelievable, and that's why we're seeing so many people come and buy second homes here. I do believe we're on the path to be a second home community, because Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, coastal Orange County is one of the greatest places you can live, and now the world knows about it. So sellers, more than ever, you need to make the right decision with your listing agent. Not only the ones that can market in a very creative way, that have the ability to cast that international net and not only get the attention of buyers, but actually create buyers out in the marketplace to figure out how to get you in a multiple bid situation for your new product. As far as buyers, keep on doing what you're doing, because I think even though we have all of this narrative about all these new homes coming on, boots on the street, when somebody's looking at the Port Streets, Dover Shores, Newport Heights, Emerald Bay, you still have so few options. It's still a great time to buy. Lock in low before they go up from there. On the side, weather report, and next month we're gonna have a weather report offside from one of our greats. It's perfect, 75-degree weather, great boating weather. Sports, a little thing in sports, very disappointed to see the Jazz lose. I think they really need to figure out what they need to do with the coach, and we saw the Phoenix Suns are dominating. We'll say goodbye to Getzlaff. Looks like it was his last game on Sunday. What a great man. Hopefully he goes into leadership of a team. And I would say, if you're thinking of buying or selling or investing, please direct message me, call me. We'd love to hear from you.